What's happening, gang? You are live back in the Secret Stash. I'm your host, Jesse Ibanez, co-founder of The Greenhouse Group. You can go check us out and what we're doing over at thegreenhousegroupinc.com. Helping folks get into and out of homes is our game. And hanging out live in the Stash for Stash Nation this hour on ESPN Radio 1700 is David Feeney of SD3D.com. And David has been dropping it like it's hot. Hot like a 3D printer, okay? Getting us all, collectively understanding exactly what in the world 3D printing is by its nature, and then most importantly, our belief on how it's going to change the world. And, of course, inventing, for inventors, chief atop that list, your ability to sort of truncate down the times of and the cost of different iterations to be able to get that thing, I would say exponentially faster, rather than having outsource to get the feedback, and then the costs involved with that. And then, of course, we talked about 3D printing, how it will soon be in every home. And if Amazon.com has anything to say about it, sooner than later, even on the back of trucks, probably handling the majority, if not eventually all of the fulfillment. So last on this list of how we believe this is going to change the world, David, talk to me about your belief and your vision that this is going to be the new industrial revolution.
Yeah, and it really is. So the last industrial revolution was really about mass manufacturing. It was about big machinery, right? And this one is about
quickly and cheaply.
Being able to do it quickly, cheaply, and being able to get that product exactly where it needs to go for the lowest cost and effort possible. Yeah. And the 3D printing is really going to allow us to do that by automating. I already mentioned how it greatly reduces that carbon footprint. Mm-hmm. And also, most importantly, using the old school route, it would take you months in order to iterate your design from, if you want to iterate 10 times, it would literally take you probably about 6 to 12 weeks. And the main reason for that is because the time it took to actually make the mold and whatever the thing actually was, it would usually take 2 to 3 weeks every single time you would want to iterate. And also the tools for design themselves are, a lot better than they used to be. Being able to scan something into existence and just be able to tweak it slightly, that's extremely powerful. And so what we've done specifically at SD3D that I think is kind of powerful is that we've created this network of, I guess, ad hoc designers that are actually here locally. And what we do is we feed them jobs and they'll come into our location and meet with a client one-on-one. And it allows them to really own their work and own their design instead of just being managed by somebody else. And you get a lot better work out of it that way. And things happen to go a lot quicker. We noticed that the standard turnaround time for a design used to be around 1 to 2 weeks, and we're now getting it down to a few days. And so you're able to iterate, maybe 10 times in the matter of 10 days.
So what I heard you say is that it's going to be a measure of cost, and also the cost of reducing the carbon footprint. Time, you're making months now turn into days, and then the tools, because your ability to scan and tweak on the fly is something like we've never been able to incarnate before.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. And it used to be really difficult for you to find a designer or, those kind of tools. You would have to be an expert or have to be familiar with the field in order to know exactly what to do. Now it's as simple as simply going to our website and filling out a form. What's your idea? We'll tell you what to do.
Yeah, I love that thought, too. And I love the spirit right now of the approach that you're taking because you could imagine, going back to the days of patent battles, the Wright brothers, Edison versus Tesla and all this stuff. It was a matter of secrecy and scarcity. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if this is any dissimilar to your experience, but what I'm hearing you say is that you've adopted this conversation as a leader in the spirit of collaboration.
Yes.
You want your spot to be a true lab.
Yes. Where
you've got ad hoc designers in there ready to take on people's projects and ideas and try to get them to be the beacon, rather than the hoarder.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly it. I mean, in 3D printing in particular right now, a lot of people are calling what we're trying to do the end of days for the whole patent era. And the main reason for that, particularly actually if you look at the top 2 companies in 3D printing, they're companies called Stratasys and 3D Systems. And if you follow their stock at all, you'll notice that it's in general been in a pretty steep decline while the whole industry itself has been going up. And the main reason for that is because they've focused all their resources on filing IP patents around, all the developments that they made a couple decades ago. Well, that old school methodology might have worked back then, but they unleashed a monster onto the market that essentially allowed people to iterate so quickly that they could not file patents quick enough in every incarnation that they could think of in order to stop that idea from coming to market. And so they're throwing a lot of, bad money after itself, trying to keep these things from coming to market, and it's just not working.
Interesting. So this could actually be a watershed moment on how the whole intellectual capital market behaves.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. Imagine that.
Yeah, the ideological movement is really centered around that in 3D printing right now.
Wow. So, and that's why, you mentioned your website, they can go and fill out a form. That, by the way, gang, is sd3d.com. Super simple, super easy to remember, sd3d.com. And you can call them anytime at 800-530-9140. Again, 800-530-9140. Started this out of a garage in 2012 or something like that.
Yep.
And now on the leader stage locally, not only conceptually or in the idea base, but also in the leadership of how you want to foster this conversation and make sure that the entire movement is following alongside you versus just being the guy holding the torch and hoping everybody comes along. I love that about you. So if someone was so inspired by this conversation and they were thinking to themselves, hey, I got an idea or I got an invention, I'd love to get it off the ground. I don't have $5-10 grand to do it. I might have a couple $100 to do it, like you said.
Yeah.
Is there something that you want to leave Stash Nation listeners that maybe help them get off the, get onto the web and fill out the form or get onto the phone and give you a call up?
Yeah, definitely. We're actually just rolling out a new membership program through SD3D, which is allowing you to get those lower costs without as much upfront, investment. You don't actually have to buy your own 3D printer to have it dedicated to you. We now have enough, capital so that we can give you lower costs on that membership. So we're going to give 20% off any of the listeners of this program off of our membership, which just starts at $500, and you get a membership for a full year. And with that membership, you already get upfront the lowest costs in the United States for 3D printing fulfillment.
So if $500, so it's basically a membership.
Yeah.
And you're going to offer 20% off.
20% off, exactly. That's
good
right.
stuff. That's awesome. So, and the reason for the membership, I would imagine, is that it's not a one at bat kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. It's a sort of, you're part of a process.
Yeah, exactly. And we want you to really pursue your product. We don't want you to just make a couple, prototypes and let it fizzle out. We want there to be some kind of drive for you, and we want to be able to support you through that and have you make money along the way. Through a 1-year membership, and actually being able to test your market with your product, you'll be able to raise enough money to go ahead and go to injection molding and mass market it from there.
Yeah, I love that thought because you got to prove the
You got to
concept.
prove it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. God, that is a huge gap you're filling with this, man. I love it. What's your favorite project you've ever worked on?
My favorite one to this day are the drone projects. Those are so awesome to see. You're just printing these pieces up. You assemble them in 10 minutes, and they're literally flying. You can have them fly 1,000 feet in the air and take aerial shots of you. We're even working on a drone that's going to be 3D scanning people pretty soon.
What?
Yeah, so that you can just have it, sitting in your hand, and it'll just fly up, do some circles around you and your friends, and you'll have a little statue ready to go at your printer at home.
How could we use that for, like, when I'm listing properties? Because we do drone footage right now for the homes.
Yeah,
we get aerials and stuff
yeah.
like that. So how could we use the 3D thing for homes?
That's another market that we're targeting. So there's a consumer one that we're going to start with. That's simple, obviously, because it just has to go around people. Yeah. But the extension from that is for more commercial applications, like you're saying, being able to take the 3D scan of a building, of a bridge, whatever it happens to be. There's a lot in that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how would that actually be displayed to, like, for example, my seller? Like, how would I be able to use that for to help list the property?
Oh, I mean, we would be able to give you a URL where you'd be able to rotate that three-dimensional object in any direction. So, and obviously you'd be able to forward that on to your seller as well.
So it's kind of like Google Earth on steroids, because you can only zoom so down in on Google Earth. It's actually Google Earth, right?
Yeah.
And it's all kind of pixelated and chopped up and stuff.
Yeah,
and you get the basic idea.
And that was probably a static shot that was taken a few years ago in most cases, right? This is something that you could deploy and have an actual 3D image of how it was today.
Yeah. How long till that goes down?
We've been working on it for about 3 months. I think there's another 2 months left before we can start deploying it. So.
Damn. Can I be your first client?
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
I'd love
that's
to
going
scan
to be really
you. That'd be great.
No, I'm in the house.
Oh, yeah, the house one. Yeah. That one I'd probably say is about 6 months out, but
okay.
I'll keep you in mind for that.
Yeah,
for sure.
I don't know if my fans want me scanned.
No.
No.
I don't know, man. I think it'd be
That's
good.
not really, that doesn't sound like that much fun.
Christmas
Steve,
gifts.
stop laughing in there. I can see Steve thought that was a good one. Gang, listen. So let's do this. First of all, David, thank you so much for coming in to the stash. This was phenomenal, man. You lived up to every expectation I had about having this conversation. You shepherded it brilliantly, and you definitely left me better than how you found me. And I hope that's true for you as well. So if you might be inspired by this conversation, I'd invite you to go check out David down at sd3d.com. Again, his 800 number is 800-530-9140. I'll give that one more time. It's 800-530-9140. And when you talk to David, make sure you mention the secret stash that you heard him on here, because he's going to give you 20% off the sign-up costs for your first membership package.
That's right.
Yeah, man.
Thanks so much for having me on, Jesse. It's been a great time here. I had a great time.
Well, again, gang, thank you for hanging out for us as well. And take a quick break right now. At the top of the hour, we're going to be inviting back in Antonio Maldonado from Maldonado Law Group. And he's going to be talking about all things U.S. and then also Mexico. Tons of business stuff in here. Local San Diego entrepreneurs, you're not going to want to miss this. We'll be right back.